At IDX 2025, Japan showcased its massive new warship. With a full load displacement of 16,000 tons, it is equipped with Lockheed Martin's latest SPY-7 radar and features 128 Mark 41 vertical launch cells capable of firing Standard Missile-3, Standard Missile-6, and Tomahawk missiles. There are even plans to equip it with hypersonic missiles. Since the 1960s, North Korean ballistic missiles have been capable of reaching all of Japan. These missiles frequently land in the Sea of Japan or even fly over Japanese territory. In August 1998, North Korea's Taepodong, one missile flew over Akita Prefecture without prior notice. According to Japan's Ministry of Defense, on August 4, 2022, North Korea launched 9 ballistic missiles, 5 of which landed in Japan's exclusive economic zone. In response, Japan began developing a ballistic missile defense system in 2004 and eventually purchased 2 land-based SPY-7 radar systems in 2017. However, in 2020, Japan announced that it would instead construct 2 new Aegis-equipped vessels to replace its land-based Aegis deployment plan. According to reports from Japanese media in 2022, the ASEV was initially planned to have a standard displacement of 20,000 tons, a length of 210 meters, and a width of 40 meters, with a length-to-width ratio of 5.52, significantly different from traditional destroyers. In contrast, American destroyers typically have a length-to-width ratio of around 8, making them long and narrow to reduce resistance and achieve higher speeds, albeit at the cost of stability. Japan's ASEV, with its lower length-to-width ratio, prioritizes stability over speed. Its primary mission is to provide long-duration missile detection, tracking, and interception at sea, making endurance, stability, and operational sustainability more critical than speed. However, by August 2023, these specifications had changed. Japan's 2024 budget request stated that the ASEV would have a reduced length of 190 meters, a width of 25 meters, and a length-to-width ratio of 7.6. Its standard displacement was adjusted to 12,000 tons, with a full load displacement of 16,000 tons. This downsizing was likely due to cost and construction challenges. Japan has allocated $2.7 billion per ship, but this budget seems insufficient. For comparison, a fully developed Arleigh Burke Flight 3 destroyer costs around $2 billion, making it highly challenging for Japan to build an entirely new 20,000-ton Aegis warship within its budget constraints. Given the financial and technical difficulties, reducing tonnage and complexity was the most practical option. Additionally, dedicating a 10,000-ton warship solely to missile defense would be a waste of displacement. If Japan intends to expand the ASEV's capabilities in the future, its low length-to-width ratio could become a design limitation. The ASEV boasts 128 vertical launch cells, 33% more firepower than the Maya-class destroyers. Its missile defense capabilities are exceptionally advanced, featuring a combination of Standard Missile-3, Standard Missile-6, and the SPY-7 radar system. Standard Missile-3 provides mid-course interception of ballistic missiles. Japan has co-developed the Standard Missile-3 Block 2A with the U.S., which is capable of intercepting intercontinental ballistic missiles. If positioned close enough, it can even intercept ballistic missiles during their boost phase. Standard Missile-6 combines the airframe and rocket motor of the Standard Missile-2 Block 3 with the active radar seeker of the AIM-120 AMRAAM. It can engage aircraft, cruise missiles, and even ballistic missiles in their terminal phase. Upgraded versions may also counter hypersonic threats and possess anti-ship capabilities. SPY-7 radar, compared to the older SPY-1, offers 5 times greater detection and tracking capability. It can detect hypersonic targets at distances of up to 500 kilometers and track objects in space. This allows it to work in tandem with Standard Missile-3 missiles to intercept enemy ICBM outside the atmosphere, even enabling anti-satellite operations. With these advanced systems, the ASEV is shaping up to be Japan's most formidable warship yet, potentially redefining missile defense in the Asia-Pacific region. It will also be equipped with upgraded Type 12 anti-ship missiles, Tomahawk cruise missiles, laser weapons, and hypersonic weapons in the future. According to the current plan, the first ASEV will enter service by the end of March 2028, followed by the second ship in March 2029. The upgraded Type 12 missiles and Tomahawk cruise missiles will be integrated into the ASEV by the 2032 fiscal year, while the deployment timeline for laser and hypersonic weapons remains uncertain. However, the ASEV does have some minor drawbacks, such as its somewhat outdated mast design. The US and European navies have already begun adopting integrated mast designs, as seen in the Zumwalt-class destroyers, the UK's Type 45 destroyers, and France's Horizon-class frigates. The lack of an integrated mast on the ASEV could somewhat impact its stealth capabilities. In 2017, Japan purchased 2 land-based Aegis missile defense systems from the US, which included the Spy-7 radar now installed on the ASEV. These were initially planned for deployment in Akita and Yamaguchi prefectures and were meant to be networked with 8 Aegis-equipped ships to form a new generation defense system. However, the deployment of these land-based Aegis systems faced strong local opposition due to concerns over the high-radiation radar installations. More importantly, Japan questioned the wartime survivability of fixed land-based defense installations. In 2020, Japan officially canceled the land-based Aegis deployment plan. However, since the Spy-7 radars had already been purchased, an alternative solution was needed. The Ministry of Defense explored various options, such as deploying the radar on artificial floating islands or other offshore facilities, but ultimately, the decision was made to construct large ships specifically to house the Spy-7 system. There are key differences between sea-based and land-based Aegis systems. Land-based Aegis does not have to account for issues like the center of gravity when mounting radars onto a ship's superstructure. Additionally, land installations offer ample space and cooling capacity, allowing the radar to operate at full potential. While sea-based Aegis has an operational missile defense radius of approximately 500 kilometers, land-based systems can extend beyond 1,000 kilometers. In essence, the sea-based Aegis is a reduced version of its land-based counterpart. However, Japan was unwilling to compromise the Spy-7's radar performance, which meant that the ships had to be large enough to accommodate both the radar and its cooling system. From this perspective, the ASEV is not a conventional destroyer, but rather a specialized sea-based missile defense platform designed to carry the land-based Aegis system. It should not be directly compared to standard destroyers. Whether the ASEV will enter service on schedule remains uncertain. The Japanese Ministry of Defense has already signed contracts with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and Japan Marine United, with construction set to begin in 2025. Further developments remain to be seen.